Hi, welcome to Ireland and Honda's DCT road trip. We've got 5 different bikes, a VFR1200F, an NC700X, an Integra, NC700S, and a Crosstourer at the end. The one thing they've all got in common is dual clutch transmission. When Honda introduced DCT on the VFR1200F in 2010, customer response was pretty lukewarm. But take-up on the VFR has risen considerably, and since the system has been introduced on 4 other models, it has got much more popular, with a take-up as high as 70% for the Crosstourer in some markets. Honda have also updated the dual clutch system, so they arranged a 2-day test on an Irish road trip from Dublin to Cork and back, where there was time to ride all 5 bikes, as well as for some traditional Irish hospitality. Firstly, a quick reminder of how the dual clutch transmission system works. As you can see on this diagram, the engine has 2 clutch units, the red one connected to the odd number gears 1, 3 and 5, and the blue clutch for the even gears 2, 4 and 6. When the bike is in first gear, clutch A for the odd number gears is engaged and transmits the driving force. Clutch B for the even numbered gears is disengaged to keep the gears in neutral. When you shift up to second, the even number gears are shifted from neutral to the second position. At this point, clutch B starts engaging, while at the same time clutch A disengages, and its gears are put into neutral, completing the change into second. And so on all the way through the box. I began the trip on an NC700S when we set off from just outside Dublin on the edge of the Wicklow Mountains National Park. Having not ridden the DCT bike for a while, it seemed slightly strange to be using my left hand just to release the parking brake, then jabbing the button on the right bar to select auto mode before simply twisting the throttle to pull away. I quickly got used to the simplicity, and I can understand DCT's appeal to inexperienced riders who already have plenty to think about. In the softer D mode, the system changed up very early, long before the low revving NC had got near its red line, helping to give very efficient acceleration. The change is also very smooth when you do it manually with the paddle shift system, which is an aspect of DCT that Honda got right from the start. The way you use your left index finger to change up and left thumb to change down is a bit like bicycle systems in its simplicity. As this diagram shows, DCT does make for a generally very smooth change, with less of a drop in revs between gears than you get with a conventional gearbox, which is why Honda's RC213V MotoGP bike has a rather more expensive seamless gearbox that does something similar for Marc Marquez and Dani Pedrosa. This second generation DCT system is certainly a major improvement on the original. The biggest change is that you can override the automatic modes temporarily, for example by changing down before a bend, and the system then returns to automatic rather than being stuck in manual as it was before. The DCT suited the NC700's low revving laid back personality too, as it did the NC700X and Integra, whose engines are basically the same. At slow town speeds you occasionally lose a little bit of control by not being able to slip the clutch. On the plus side, you're never going to stall at the traffic lights. When I got to ride the VFR1200F, I wasn't as impressed by its DCT, although this updated system is a significant improvement. As well as allowing the rider to override the auto modes temporarily, it's now clever enough to return to the softer D or sportier S mode, depending on how the bike is being ridden. That meant that in manual mode the big V4 was very quick and easy to ride on the twisty, often bumpy R668 from Lismore. The paddle shift worked really well, though it took some getting used to. But switching the VFR to automatic mode highlighted a tricky area for any auto transmission. It couldn't tell when I was approaching a bend, and was too conservative with its downshifts, so often entered the turn in too high a gear. For me though, even the VFR's sportier S mode also tended to change up too soon when I was accelerating out of bends. This updated DCT has what Honda calls predictive cornering shift control, which is intended to sense your inner corner from the combination of throttle and road speed, and avoid changing gear while you're leant over. Maybe what it really needs is a lean ankle sensor. The dual clutch system seemed best suited to the Crosstourer, the big soft adventure bike that encouraged a gentle pace. One of the Crosstourers was also the only bike on the trip that also had a conventional foot gear shift, which is an optional extra. Being able to shift smoothly and clutchlessly with a flick of either left hand or foot was fun and confirmed how efficient Honda's system is. So would I pay the extra for DCT? On the VFR, probably not. I'd wait for an updated system with sportier or better still programmable options, although I was impressed by how much the system has improved. If I bought a Crosstourer, I'd probably pay the extra already, because DCT is so well suited to the big V4's laid-back character. As for the NC700s and Integra, I find my thoughts almost as changeable as Ireland's weather. My only firm recommendation would be to give DCT a try for yourself. Honda's double clutch technology isn't right for every bike or rider, but the updated system is good enough to deserve a serious look.